Hello and welcome back to a new year of It's Tea Time. I'm your host, Jonathan Sellers, and today we're joined by Sandy Atkins, a Senior Associate Director of Athletics for Troy University. And Happy New Year, and,
Thank you.
And welcome back.
Yep, glad to be back.
I know it's been a busy time for y'all. Y'all got a little bit of a break, but not too much of one, as basketball was in full swing over the break, and a lot of other things going on. So we'll talk about basketball. Both teams have been playing well. Men just can't seem to catch a break. They have played so well, close games, but they just can't seem to get on that winning side of things.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit of bad luck. The last 5 games they've lost by a total of 20 points or less. 2 games in overtime. I mean, they're playing really good ball. They just can't seem to get the ball to bounce their way. But you're right. We had those guys. They don't get a break. It was kind of one of our most relaxed breaks we've had. We only had a couple of events, a couple of basketball games during the break. So while we're getting to recharge our batteries, the men and women's basketball teams, they're hitting it hard, practicing all break. And I think the men also, getting back to the men, they also play 3 of the top 4 teams in the league.
Right.
So they're 0-4 in the league right now. But again, 3 of those games within a matter of 3 points, and so hopefully they'll be able to win a couple and get on a winning streak.
And the women lost their first conference game of the year, but then since then have won 3 in a row and look pretty good doing it.
Yeah, the same as the men. They started out with the Arkansas teams, and they're doing really well right now. So we had some tough competition coming right out of the gate, but the women, played a tough game against Arkansas State, couldn't get the win, but have really rattled off 3 impressive wins, have looked good playing. Right now they're tied for second in the conference behind Arkansas State. So a lot of games left to play in the conference. They play a 20-game schedule, 4 games down and 16 to go.
And something over the break was a couple of those games were at home. The Arkansas games had good attendance, and a lot of times during the break we maybe won't see that because the students are in town, but you had some promotions, dollar hot dog and things like that really got the town folks out.
You try to, when we sit back and try to plan for these events, we try to get the community engaged, especially when the students are gone. We rely on the community to come out to the events, and so we decided to try a dollar hot dog night, dollar entry into the game, and really exceeded our expectation. We actually had to we ran out of hot dogs, so we had to go to selling dollar hamburgers. So
and it worked, and it was a very good atmosphere. Any other promotions that you know of like that coming up?
We do have quite a bit of things planned. We've got, our regular promotions that we do, just try to engage the community. We will be doing some more dollar nights. That seemed to be a good theme. We always try to get into the rec leagues and the city recreational leagues. We'll be having some of those games at halftime of our games. So we'll try to engage the community, and of course the students. They always come. We'll be giving away half-court shots for free iPads and things of that nature. So promotions once you get to the game as well. And
there's actually a couple of home games this week, a couple of double headers Thursday and then Saturday.
Yes, we do. We've got, like I said, doubleheader Thursday and Saturday. We've been on the road for 2 weeks, so it's good to get back at home. And we hope to have a good crowd to be able to. It's always when the crowd gets excited and gets engaged, you kind of can build off that momentum. So.
And Saturday's games are late afternoon games; they're not night games, and I do know that because of a promotion. As I'm a parent of a young one, and it is the T. Roy's team game this Saturday. So I know if you children haven't joined T. Roy's team, there's still time to do that, and that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You can do that through our website, TroyTrojans.com. But that's another promotion that we've done that's really taken off. We started that last year. So we do have a little event planned for T. Roy's team Saturday. I think it's at 2:30.
Right.
The women start at 2, so come on out and watch some of the women's game, and then we'll have the little event and follow that up with behind the men's game.
Yeah, so lots of things to do at those games, and then I know you said a couple of other teams that have some fall schedules will be getting their spring schedule started this weekend as well.
Yes, we're going to have, although the break, we had men and women's basketball starting January, February. It really kicks off all of our spring sports. Track and tennis starts start this weekend. They'll be gearing up to take off. We were actually going over their rosters right before I came over here to make sure they were all eligible and ready to compete. So.
And track will be kind of in the indoor stage of things right now. They'll do that for about a month or so. Let the weather get a little warm before they go back outdoors. But so they'll be preparing for the outdoor season. I know something else we like to talk about is the bat and ball sports. Those will be coming up pretty soon. Softball and baseball. Softball actually starts practice today, right?
Yes, they do. And then baseball will start a week after them.
Okay.
They'll practice. The softball team actually starts off with the first 3 weekends. We host 3 tournaments.
Oh, perfect.
So everybody loves those weekends except for the event guys. You know, they have to put in some long hours. But it's a great. We've got there's in each of the tournaments. There's 6 teams in the tournament, so they'll be going all 3 of those weekends. We do have our baseball and softball fan day scheduled for February the 6th at 1 o'clock. It's Saturday at Riddle Pace Field. So you can bring your children out to that. They can sign posters, and then we'll have some inter-squad games following that.
And generally, I know the Trojan Warriors, I shouldn't promise this, but normally they're out there with hot dogs and refreshments and things like that. So another great opportunity to get out and meet the players and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. That's I love that event. I love to see the kids, they just pile in line to get the autographs from the students. And the students love it too. I mean, they like to interact with the young kids and free hot dogs and Cokes while you're standing in line. It's a great festive time for those guys. One of the things too to say about baseball, they are receiving some votes preseason, the collegiate baseball preseason poll. So we're really excited about that.
And I know things will be a little bit different out there this year. I know Bobby Pierce is no longer at the helm. He'll still be around, I'm sure. But Coach Smart, who's been around, is now taken over. So a little bit of change at the top, and that'll be fun to watch. Yeah,
a little bit of change. Of course, Mark Smart came with Bobby when they came 12 years ago now. Mark's been a head coach before at the University of West Alabama, and then moved over to Troy as an assistant. And so he's getting his time at the helm, much deserved.
Right.
He's extremely impressive, and he's been there every step of the way with Coach Pierce and those championship teams that they fielded, and he has his son that's playing for him this year.
And he's a Troy guy, and that's a Troy family, to say the least. I know something else we always like to talk about. I know they're not in season, but that's the football team.
Yes.
I know they ended the season on a great note with a big win, and have carried a little momentum into the fall signing period, getting a good little class, and now they're working on that spring period, which the signing day will be February 3rd.
Right, and if you ask any football coach, they'll tell you that seems like football season starts in August. Well, they'll tell you football season starts right now.
It never ends.
Well, actually, it never ends, but. They will hit the road on the recruiting trail. We've actually got a series of recruiting weekends scheduled coming up for the next couple of weekends. Those coaches will be out on the road, all of them. They'll maybe come back in and wash a load of clothes, and then they get back on the road again. So. And
I know you said they're at the convention right now, or they'll be going to the coaches' convention.
There's a dead period right now. It's surrounded by the college football coaches convention, and all the coaches are out there. They'll be coming back today and tomorrow, and they'll like I said, they'll hit the road recruiting. Signing day is February 3rd. Right. So we also have an event scheduled around the signing day like we did last year, February the 3rd, 5:30. It's a Wednesday up in the Stadium Club.
A great event last year. I know Coach Brown got to talk about all the players after they had signed the dotted line, and showed video of them, and just a great Troy atmosphere. Something else I know we want to kind of hit on real quick is a couple of events to look forward in the future is the Hall of Fame weekend, which is always an exciting one.
Yeah, if you go ahead and put that on your calendar, that's a great weekend. April the 9th, we'll have a spring game. It won't be the T-Day game, as the spring football schedule will go another 2 weeks, but there will be a spring scrimmage on that day. We have a baseball series at home that weekend. That game, the spring game will be at 11, baseball at 1, and of course the Hall of Fame banquet will be that night. That's always a great event, and they're really excited about that event this year.
And hopefully we'll have the names that we can talk about pretty soon, and that'll be always fun to hear all those historical figures through Choice Sports.
The Hall of Fame committee met, and it usually takes, they have elected the candidates this year. It usually takes a couple of weeks to notify those individuals, and once we do that, we'll release it to the public. Should be coming up at the end of this week.
And one final thing, I know Trojan Arena will hopefully be packed tonight. There's a great event, not necessarily Troy related, but it is in Trojan Arena and hopefully a big crowd, and that's the Harlem Globetrotters. Always a fun event. Yeah,
that's it really has, of all the events that we try to do that are non-athletically related or Troy athletics related, this has been our best seller. We're right at 2,500 tickets that we've sold already, and expecting a good walk-up crowd for tonight. So it's entertaining, a lot of excitement around that, so it should be a pretty fun night.
And you never know that maybe people haven't seen Trojan Arena yet. Yeah. A great opportunity for them to see it and bring them back.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you. I know you got a lot ahead of you, so good luck with that.
Absolutely.
All right, and stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time, and we're going to talk about the women's basketball team with the head coach Chandra Rigby. And welcome back, Coach, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. You as well.
And I know it's been a Happy New Year because y'all have been playing pretty well recently on a 3-game winning streak, and now 3-1 in conference play. And you've got to be pretty excited just with the way the team has been on a roll recently.
Very much. We had a big turnaround at the UALR game, which we won that game, and we settled down. We ran offenses. We followed the game plan. We met the team goals that we had set for the game, and we've pretty much been doing that every game since then, so we hope to keep that going.
Now, we're going to talk about the game before that, the Arkansas State game. It was a tough game for y'all. You just couldn't seem to get everything together.
Right.
What happened in that game, and was there kind of maybe a meeting in the locker room afterwards that kind of got the ball rolling?
Well, actually, even though we lost that game, and actually we looked terrible in that game, we were striving for big goals in that game. And I actually do think it set up how well we're playing now, because we played a very high-level competition. They are first in the Sun Belt Conference, and they've done a great job this year. There's just some of the things that maybe to the fans' eyes that they couldn't see. It kind of looked like mass confusion out there, the way we looked on the court. Some of the lessons we learned from that game really spurred us on to be successful in the subsequent games.
And then, as you said, the Little Rock game was a turning point. Was there a moment in that game, or just right from the tip, everything seemed to click?
Well, we had a big challenge in front of us. Since they usually lead the conference in defense, we usually lead the conference in offense. They're going to be back and set, and they don't allow us to run on them. Right. So we knew we had to rely on our half-court sets, which is a huge challenge for us. We really set our minds to it. We really worked on it, and they really came out and executed and scored in a high percentage of possessions.
So 1-1 to start the conference year. Both of those games are at home. You want to win the home games and then hopefully split on the road. You kind of did the opposite. You got both of the wins at the Georgia schools over the weekend, so that's got to be comforting that you got that game back that you lost at home.
Absolutely. We never can really get it back, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then again, the way that the Sun Belt Conference is set up, we'll go on the road 2 games, home 2 games, the road 2 games, home 2 games. So we're hoping just to keep the winning rolling, but especially this week at home against 2 very good Texas teams.
Right. And what do you know about those schools?
Well, Texas Arlington is who we play on Thursday. We play them first. They have the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year coming back. She's a 6'5" center, very skilled, very good. So that's a matchup problem for us in a way. She and Caitlin Ramirez will probably be battling it out. She will win the height war. Caitlin will win the strength war. So that's a tough matchup. They have some very good guards this year. Some guards that have transferred back maybe from other Division I schools and set out a year. Now they're eligible and ready to play. So Ashley Beverly Kelly and her group of perimeter players will have their work cut out on defense. And we feel like that we have a good game plan of how to score on them on offense.
And you've gotten some good contributions from your players, especially after Ashley Beverly Kelly. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew she was going to do well. Caitlin Ramirez is doing well. Mm-hmm. Talk about Amani Upshaw. She's played really well recently.
We probably wouldn't have won the game at Georgia State if it weren't for Amani Upshaw. She started the game for us. She's a true freshman. Right. We had an injury. Rachel Reed had to sit out that game, and so we needed a starter. Right. And we ended up starting Amani Upshaw, and we're so glad she did. She scored the first 3 possessions of the game. She had 9 rebounds at halftime, ended up with 16 in the game. She was huge for us, and that just goes to show you never know. You can't measure somebody's heart and their desire to want to do something. When she got that opportunity to start, she went with it.
And so 2 big games this week. You've got Texas State, Texas Arlington.
Yes.
And the other way around, but that'll be Thursday night. You'll have the 5:15 tip on Thursday. Then it's an earlier game on Saturday. That's a 2 o'clock tip.
Right.
So hopefully big crowds out there. I know you had some pretty good crowds over the break, and
Yes.
Hopefully they'll continue to come out this week.
Absolutely, we're hoping so.
And one thing we got to mention is congratulations to your son, who is now at Troy. We can talk about this, that he is
Yes.
signed and will be a member of the Troy football team. So.
Right. So we're so happy. We could not be happier. We're a Trojan family now, and just glad to have him here at Troy battling it out for Neil Brown and helped him to rebuild the wall. He had his first workout yesterday, and he just said it was extremely challenging. He got his first inundation to college Division I athletics. So but we're just really thankful he's here.
And it'll be exciting to get to watch the Rigby family out both on the court and on the football field.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to our final segment here on It's Tea Time, and I'm joined by the Director of Basketball Operations for the men's basketball team, and that's Mike Worley. And Mike, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to you. And I know things maybe haven't gone quite how y'all expected in this new year. 0-4 to start the conference slate, but the record doesn't necessarily tell how well y'all have been playing. The games have been close. It's just maybe one thing in each game that hasn't led to the W.
Right, yeah. Happy New Year to you too, Jonathan. Yeah, it's been, there's been tight games, and there's a lot of parity in our league. There's a couple of teams at the top of the league that have RPI in the nation that are very high. Right. So the league overall is much improved. We're improved as well. We're right there. We're, as Coach Cunningham likes to say, we're knocking on the door. We're very close. Overtime game over there, close to the coast at Georgia Southern the other night. And that was a road game. So we're very close. We need fans to come out. We need the students back. The students are active, and when they're here, Jonathan, they're loud, and they'll have that opportunity Thursday.
And go back to the Arkansas games. Both of those games were games that y'all led at the half. Then the second half, still tight games, but then maybe free throws down the stretch or something. Then the Georgia games were kind of the opposite. Y'all got down early at halftime and then fought back. What happened? I mean, it was just kind of different, tale of two halves.
Yes, that's a good point. Arkansas State's 4-0 in the league now. Okay. And we, at about the 12-minute mark of the second half, we led them by 12 points. So, that was really a tale of two different, 2 home games and 2 road games. And in the home games, we did, play well early for the most part. UALR, Little Rock has been, they've beaten 5, 6, what would be considered high major teams out of the Mountain West. They beat San Diego State, they beat East Carolina, they beat Tulsa, who's perennially very good. Right. So they've been very good. And so coming into that game, in the mid-major rankings, they were one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the entire country. So we played well against them. They were very formidable. But the Arkansas State game was one we really look back and think if we make a play here or stop a transition break here, probably in shape to win that game. And as you said, free throws. If we make just a couple more free throws, we win that game. So we're right there. Same thing. We go to overtime at Georgia Southern, the most recent game, and a couple free throws here or there. In fact, we had Jordan Bernardo had 2 free throws to go up 4 in overtime. So we're right there, man, and we need a good showing Thursday from our students and energy in the room, and energy in the arena, and we think that'll help.
Well, talk about those upcoming games. What do we know about those opponents?
Well, UT Arlington, if you think about Little Rock, UT Arlington went into Ohio State, beat Ohio State on the road. They lost to the University of Texas in overtime at their place, so at Texas. So they're very good, and they're similar to Little Rock. Now, they're not probably quite as defensively fundamental as Little Rock, but they're maybe more talented offensively. So they're going to be a very worthy opponent in here Thursday, and that's why we're excited to have students here and get the energy going again. Texas State guards real well, maybe not as efficient offensively as Arlington will be, but we've always had, really tough, intense games with Texas State down to 1, 2 possessions, 2, 3 points here and there. So every night in this league is going to be a chance to win, and it's also going to be a chance to prove that you can get a win. Right.
So. And as you said, it's always going to be great to get back at home, have these students back, and hopefully a lot of energy in the crowd, and hopefully that will happen on Thursday and Saturday. 7:30 on Thursday,
Yes.
and then a 4:15 tip on Saturday. One player I'd like to kind of mention that gave you some good minutes, especially at Georgia Southern, was B.J. Miller. He's been coming off the bench and playing some good minutes for you. If you could just tell us a little bit about him.
BJ's a freshman from Meridian, Mississippi. He's a strong guard. He's a what you consider in basketball to be called a combination guard, which means he can play the point guard spot, which is the position that brings the ball up, or he can play shooting guard, which would be a wing player.
Right.
But he's very capable offensively. He's a good defender. He's strong for a freshman. He gets to the basket. We call it the rim, but he gets to the basket very easily and can also get there and adjust the ball and still make the shot. You know, you can get there, but if you can't always make the shot, it's not going to be as important. So he's very good at finishing, is what we call it, and he's a capable player as a freshman. So what you've got is, you know, Wes Person, who was freshman of the year last year, he's a sophomore now. You've got Jordan Venardo, he's in the running to be the freshman of the year this year in our league. You've got BJ, who's coming off the bench, and you brought him up because he is impressive. So we've got really good young talent. You know, this is the league that what has traditionally been the upper tier teams have either had NBA players that have been drafted or they've been junior college players. So we've got freshmen and sophomores that are showing they can play, and hopefully that'll translate as they grow through the season.
And that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Do you think as the season goes along, especially more in conference play, when they get the swing of things, that they'll have some of that experience, that they'll get the feel of things a little bit better?
We hope so. You know, you go through basketball, unlike, you know, football, which a lot of the South is familiar with. You know, basketball, you go through a preseason. Football probably does that too, but then you go through a non-conference slate where you play some opponents you should beat. You know, like in Dothan, we played Payne College. You play some opponents you shouldn't beat, like Ole Miss. We took them to overtime. And then you kind of get used to each other. Then you head into that phase, which is early conference season, and then you head through the back side of the conference season and play everybody again. So play everybody twice in the Sun Belt. And then you head into the postseason of the Sun Belt tournament to try to get into a tournament somewhere. So there's phases to basketball, and what you speak of, I mean, in the backside of the conference season, we're hoping that the experience the young people gain, these young players gain, will help us then.
Well, I know y'all got a lot to look forward to, looking to break that skid, and hopefully that'll happen Thursday night. Hopefully a big crowd at 7:30 for women's game first, and then the men's game. So hopefully y'all can have a good weekend.
Hey, we'd love to, and I appreciate your support and you know, the fans. I don't want to discount Dothan folks or Montgomery or Troy people coming out too, but we definitely need those students who can walk across the campus or walk over from the apartments. They've been real loud. They've been there in great numbers in some of those early games, so we need them again.
You're exactly right, and hopefully they'll come out. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Jonathan.
All right. Join us again next week for more of It's Tea Time.